Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another tutorial. In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to land a 777 in flight gear. Except one thing, I'm going to show you how to auto land the 777 because landing is pretty easy manually. But what happens if you have a bunch of fog in your way? You wouldn't be able to see anything. So this is why this tutorial is useful. You'll be able to know how to auto land the 777 so that when there's actually fog or other weather conditions, you can land this without any problem. So I'm currently spawned at Anchorage International. You can try this with any airport that has the localizer and glide slope. So to see which runways do have these, you check basically these arrow symbols here. These arrow symbols indicate basically your ILS configuration. So you can see for Anchorage, you have 07 left and 07 right, both having these arrows, aka they both support ILS. However, the opposite, 25 right and 25 left, does not have ILS. Therefore, this tutorial wouldn't work because you'll have to visually land there, which means you have to manually land there. But other than that, you want to set your configuration to be 10 miles, 10 nautical miles from the threshold. Altitude adjust accordingly because again, if I say set this to 3,500 feet, some of you might be complaining because I will warn you, if you're flying somewhere that has a high altitude, one notable example is Denver International, which I guarantee you that if you're landing at Denver, this will be in the ground. Because I believe the ground level is above 3,500. So this adjusted accordingly. Airspeed set to 200 knots. For me, I like to take it at that rate mostly because I have to explain stuff and some things happen simultaneously. So I kind of have to slow the plane down to basically carry out this tutorial. But other than that, this is the configuration. Make sure you want to set your nav1 to the runway localizer for it to work because it is going to tune it to the radio frequency so that Autoland will work. But I will press the start button and hopefully I'll see you guys. And currently it looks like we're in the middle of nowhere, but rest assured we are in the glide. Opening this map here, you can see we are within range of runway 15, which we are actually perfectly in line with because we configured to be that way. But you can see there's another airport here. But anyways, let's go back to the cockpit view. I am going to show you, right now I'm currently paused because if I unpause, the plane will crash. So I'm currently paused. You might want to pause too because you want to adjust all these settings so that you can actually auto land the plane. So looking at this autopilot panel here, you can see that we have our auto throttle, our altitude, and these two buttons here. So let's start with the altitude. It's going to hold your altitude, so you want to set this to 0. So we're not going to care about this anymore. We're going to press the approach button because we're approaching to the airport. And finally, we're going to press the AP button, which turns on the autopilot. If you're actually flying this in real life, the autopilot will be turned on from the moment you take off. So, but currently we're spawned in the air, so we can't really do that. But I'm going to set this to 150, which is landing speed. Now, why that's slow? Because I want to show you in detail how to do this. In real time, you'll have to do things simultaneously, looking at gauges and other stuff. But I want to show you step by step. So in order for that to happen, I have to turn this down a bit. So currently, this is the setting, and we're going to unpause to let the screen start displaying things here. But let me, all right, there we go. Okay, there we go. I can see autopilot turned off because I forgot to sync it with the actual thing. So let's turn this back on. So yeah, sometimes you might want to actually unpause it because you want the plane to actually start responding first. But now that it is responding, we can see we are doing about 200-ish knots, and we can currently drop down 15 flaps because looking at this, we are within the range of the 15-degree mark. So other than that, what you want to do is you want to make sure that this is going to be your friend. So this flight instrumentation panel is going to be your best friend. Most likely, because you want to see this little pink diamond. Now this diamond shows you where you want to be for the glide slope to work. So for this diamond here, it must be aligned at least close to the center line, right over here, for the ILS to be captured. If it's above, you're too low. So picture this center line as your airplane, and this is your goal. So think about it. If your goal is above your airplane, you're low. If this pink diamond is all the way down here, which means you're too high. But as of now, we're actually right on the dot here because we're actually just a little bit low, but we're pretty much close enough for it to work. So take a look at this, because these things must come to you automatically. Once you start getting into the hang of flying these things, you need to know when to lower your speed and altitude so that you want to watch this pink diamond either drop or ascend to this center line. And once it does, you want to press this approach button, and then something magical will happen. And by that, let's unpause, and boom, there you go. You can see that we have localizer, and then the vertical speed is currently set so that it matches the glide slope. So let me just unpause this just a little bit. And you can see actually we are dropping a bit, so we have to climb up a bit, otherwise the glide slope won't capture. We're a bit too low. So we're gonna set our vertical speed just a little bit, and you can see the pink diamond's falling, it's falling. Once it reaches this line, this will change to glide slope. Watch and learn. And boom, there we go. The line has been reached and the glide slope has been intercepted. And you can see these three panels should display speed, localizer, and glide slope. And for the most part, we are good. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to monitor other things while the plane decides how to approach the runway. So first, we are going to keep this at 150, even though it's a little bit slow. But for me, I'm going to show you basically how this works. For your speed brakes, yes, you got armed the speed brakes right here. So speed brake is armed, not deployed. Don't want to deploy it yet. But flaps, let's drop this down to 25 here for now. And you want to now basically watch your altitude. Obviously in real life, you want to contact ATC to make sure you're cleared for the ILS. But this is assuming you already did, and we are intercepted the localizer. And you can see again, this is basically our current glide slope status, and you can see we're right on the dot here. We're perfectly in glide because obviously the computer's doing it. And for the localizer, we're perfectly in line because this lateral diamond shows too. So currently, you can see our runway just up to our 12 o'clock, just a little bit in the distance right there. And we're going to do final checks before landing, so we're going to make sure everything is set. So again, flaps is down to 25, speed brake is armed, and gear will come down at flight level 010, and currently we are still a little bit higher than that. So currently, you can see the plane is reached critical distance for it to know, alright, it's time to auto-land this thing. And so you'll see land 3 in big bold letters here, and you can see that it's going to roll out and flare for us. So that's actually pretty cool. So you can see we're actually approaching pretty quickly, and our flight level is around 010. So let us actually drop down the gears by pressing this button here, and gears are coming down right now. So there we go, gears are coming down. Now, usually what I like to do is I'll bring up the head-up display because I want to see what it's actually doing. So obviously you can look at the instrumentation panel, but you can also see the numbers here, which will actually help a bit. So currently we're still dropping. We're about 600 feet still on the glide. We're gonna drop our last notch of flaps down here to 30 degrees. Now we're full flaps. Speed brake is armed, and we're gonna be ready to deploy reverse thrusters at any second. But currently, I am not controlling the flight panels at all. See, look, I'm looking the wrong way. I'm looking back and forth. So this is the computer landing the plane, just so you know. But it's gonna flare. But be prepared to take control the moment it stops flaring, because then the autopilot will disengage. So, okay, look, it's flaring by itself. I'm not doing anything at all. My cursor is still. So, there we go. Coming down.
10.
Okay, we have touchdown. Reverse thrusters activated. There we go. Reverse thrusters coming up. Speed brake is extended. Make sure your tiller is on the center line, because sometimes it will veer off the left or right depending on how it's configured. But we're gonna drop down to idle now. Speed brakes are retracted, and then basically that is it. I didn't land the plane technically. It did it by itself completely without my help. At the end, I just deployed reverse thrusters, but other than that, I didn't do anything. But we will follow through with the positions. Obviously, forgot to retract the flaps. We took a bit of the runway, mostly because I was showing you. We can turn this off, by the way. But we are down in the ground, and we'll just follow through. And there's the whole short line, so let's get past that whole short line. And slow down with the normal brakes. And would you look at that? That is it. So let me just slow down to a complete halt here. I don't know why speed brakes are still up. Oh, let's close them. There we go. And that is it, guys. That is how you land Autoland a 777. Which, I mean, let's see how it did. Because again, this is completely the computer. I didn't do anything. So let us replay this. Let us switch to tower view. So it's gonna, we're just gonna scroll. Alright, let's see how it flared. So I'm not sure why it's not switching over, but there we go. Okay. There we go. You can see it's flaring. Some of the planes are blocking it. Let me just... I think it did pretty well. You can see coming down here, it's doing a little flare right on the center line, and wouldn't necessarily call it bugger, but actually that's pretty solid landing there. And then yeah, so this will be extremely useful. Obviously, if okay, this is being too loud here, but this is pretty useful if you have fog in your way, or if it's nighttime you can't see where the runway is. Just use this, and pretty much that is how you land a plane. Also land a plane actually. But yeah, that is it for today's video. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Peace out, guys.